Hello everyone. In the previous video, we have seen how to solve a variational problem with moving boundaries. And we had already noted down the steps to solve a problem with moving boundaries, and by following those steps we have solved the problems. Okay. In the PDF, I have shared the solutions of two problems with moving boundaries. Okay. Note that in the last step, as we get the values of the point A and the point B, let us suppose say point A is x0 y0 and point B is x1 y1, and we also determine the constants c1 and c2. This is what we do in step 4. So once all these values are determined, then what we do is we find the shortest distance or whatever the thing that is asked. In the problems that we have solved, it was asked for the shortest distance. Okay, so what we did was, to find out the shortest distance, we have evaluated what is this vy of x by taking y of x to be equal to this curve. That means whatever we have found out, y of x equal to c1x plus c2. By substituting the value of c1 and c2, whatever curve we get here, that we have used it in this functional. Okay, and with the point x0 as this and at the point x1 as this. Okay, and then inside whatever the functional is, we have used this curve, and then evaluating this will give us the value of this, and that value is the extremum value of this functional. Okay, wherein this problem was a moving boundary problem. But remember that I have also given the OR case for this. That means we can also find this minimum value or the shortest distance by using the distance formula. And you all know what is the distance formula. If you are given the 2 points and we want to find out the distance between these 2 points. Okay, so it was if we want to find out the distance between this point, then if I take line joining the 2 points, okay, then the distance between these two can be calculated by using the distance formula, which says square root of x1 minus x0 the whole square plus y1 minus y0 the whole square. Okay, and whatever value comes, that will be the shortest distance between this point and this point. Okay, now notice that every time it may not be possible to use such a formula, that means a different formula, to calculate whatever is the minimum distance or whatever the quantity is asked, the extremum quantity. Okay, because this was a problem wherein our functional our extremal curve was a straight line. Okay, it was a straight line, and we were getting the 2 points. Therefore we could use this distance formula to find out the minimum distance. Okay, so if it is not in such a way, then what you will have to do is, you will have to evaluate the extremum value of the functional by using this only. Okay, it is not always true that we will be able to use some other formula and find out the extremum value. Okay, so this was the thing about the moving boundary problems. So today we will start with extremals with conditions. Now what is this extremals with conditions? Let capital F x y y dash and g of x y y dash be two given functions which satisfy the conditions on capital F and G in Euler-Lagrange differential equation. Okay, so when we were dealing with these functionals vy of x, integral from x0 to x1 capital F of x y y dash dx, okay, and when we were writing the Euler-Lagrange differential equation for such a functional by taking this capital F, then there were some conditions like this capital F, we had taken it 3 times differentiable, then whatever the curve y of x is there, then it belongs to this class c0 comma 1 or whatever the conditions were, okay, all those conditions are satisfied by these functions, okay. Therefore it is said that let f and g be the two given functions which satisfy the conditions on this f and g in Euler-Lagrange differential equation, okay. Then from among all the curves y equal to y of x, along which the functional integral from x0 to x1 g of x y y dash dx equal to L, or you can say this functional, it takes value L, determine the one on which the functional vy of x equal to integral from x0 to x1 x y y dash dx has extremum values. So this is the problem, variational problem with conditions, okay. That means what we want to do is we have a functional vy of x equal to integral from x0 to x1 f x y y dash dx. We want to find out a curve y equal to y of x such that on that curve this functional attains its extremum, okay, but that curve should also satisfy this condition, okay. So it is like we want to find the extremal, but that there are some conditions which are to be satisfied by that extremal, okay. So from among all the curves y equal to y of x which satisfy this condition, that means if we put that y in this functional, okay, and then that functional takes the value L. All those curves, we want to determine the one on which this one, meaning this functional, has the extremum value. Okay. So let us state the theorem. If a curve y equal to y of x extremizes the functional vy of x equal to integral from x0 to x1 f x y y dash dx such that y at x0 is y0, y at x1 is y1, subject to I y of x equal to integral from x0 to x1 gx y y dash dx is equal to L So if y equal to y of x is a curve such that on that curve this functional attains its, meaning it extremizes, this curve extremizes this functional subject to this condition. Okay, so it is a curve which is extremizing this functional along with these conditions. Okay, subject to this condition, that is this functional is having the value L. Okay, and if on the curve y equal to y of x if the curve y equal to y of x is not an extremal of the functional I means this functional. Okay, and if that curve is not the extremal of this functional, then there exists some value lambda, a constant. Lambda is a constant value such that y equal to y of x is an extremal of the functional L of y of x equal to integral from x0 to x1 capital F plus lambda into g dx. So what this theorem says is, if a curve y equal to y of x extremizes this functional subject to this condition, that means from among all the curves which are satisfying this condition, okay, it is that curve which extremizes this functional. Okay, y of x is such a curve. And if that curve is not the extremal curve of the functional this, that means the second functional, if that curve is not the extremal of this, then there exists a constant lambda such that the curve y equal to y of x is an extremal of the functional this. Okay, and you can see here, this is the problem that we have, for which we want to find out the extremal which is satisfying this condition as well. Okay, but now this problem with condition on the extremal is getting reduced to a normal problem that we all this time we were solving, that is a problem, a variational problem with no condition on the extremal. Okay, so if this y of x is the curve which is satisfying all these conditions and all these criteria, then there will exist one lambda, a constant, such that the y of x is an extremal of the functional this. Okay, so let us take one, we will not see the proof of this theorem, so let us take one example. Find the extremum of the functional jy of x equal to integral from 0 to pi y dash square dx, y at 0 is 0, y at pi is equal to 0, such that integral from 0 to pi y square dx is equal to 1. So what we want to do is we want to find the extremum of the functional jy of x, this satisfying these conditions. Okay, so what we will be looking for is the extremal of this functional. Okay, so from this it's clear that this is equal to capital F and this is equal to g. Okay, and therefore the integrand of the functional L will be f plus lambda g, that is this y dash square plus lambda times y square. Okay, consider L y of x equal to integral from 0 to pi f plus lambda g dx, where capital F is equal to y dash square, g is equal to y square. Okay, let's call this integrand to be equal to k, some k. Okay, this full thing let's call it as k. Therefore k is equal to y dash square plus lambda times y square. We want to find the extremals for this functional. That means what? We will have to first find the Euler-Lagrange differential equation corresponding to this integrand and then solve that Euler-Lagrange differential equation. Okay, so it will be first differentiating k with respect to y, it will be 2 lambda y, differentiating k with respect to y dash 2 y dash. Therefore Euler-Lagrange differential equation will be given by ky minus d by dx of ky dash equal to 0. So if we substitute this in the Euler-Lagrange differential equation, what we will get is 2 lambda y minus d by dx of 2 lambda y minus 2 y double dash equal to 0. That is y double dash minus lambda y equal to 0. Okay, and now we want to solve this differential equation. Okay, but to solve this differential equation, what we will have to know is what is this lambda. And now we will take cases on this lambda. Okay, the corresponding auxiliary equation will be m square minus lambda equal to 0. Okay, so that will imply m square is equal to lambda, and m is equal to plus or minus root of lambda. Okay, now if I want to write what is the solution y of x equal to, I should know what is this. That is, whether it is real and repeated, or whether it is complex, or whether it is two distinct real roots. And how we will know all the that what is the case? For that we will have to take the cases on this lambda. Okay, so case 1, if lambda is equal to 0, then what will happen? This will be plus or minus 0, so m is equal to 0, we will get repeated roots. And then the solution will be, then y of x will be equal to ax plus b. Then from initial conditions, what were the initial conditions? Because whatever is that y of x, it should be satisfying these conditions. Okay, so this tells us that y of 0 is equal to 0. So that will imply y at 0 is equal to, it will be b is equal to 0, and y at pi is equal to 0. Y at pi will be a into pi equal to 0, a is equal to 0. Therefore y of x is equal to 0. But if you see this y of x equal to 0, that means it's a 0 function, identically equal to 0. Y is identically equal to 0. So this is not satisfying this isoperimetric condition. Okay, it is not satisfying this condition. That means whatever should be satisfied by the extremal curve. Okay, so if it's this, then it will not satisfy this condition. Therefore lambda is not equal to 0. Okay, then therefore this tells that lambda cannot take the value 0, because if it is taking the value 0, then it comes out to be y of x is equal to, identically equal to 0, which is not satisfying the condition. Okay, so if lambda is strictly greater than 0, then let lambda be equal to some p square. Okay, then what will happen? This lambda is equal to p square, so m is equal to plus or minus p, and p is a real number. Okay, so this will give us the solution y of x equal to c1 e raised to px plus c2 e raised to minus px. and from the initial conditions we will get this is equal to 0 and y at pi is equal to, this will imply c1 is equal to minus of c2, and this will be c1 e raised to pi x plus c2 e raised to minus pi, sorry, p into pi and minus pi into p. In place of x we are putting pi and we are getting c1 e raised to p pi plus c2 e raised to minus p pi. Okay, so by using this we will get c2 e raised to minus p pi minus e raised to pi into p. This is equal to 0 because y of pi is given to be equal to 0. Okay, now this into this is equal to 0. What does that tell us? Either this is equal to 0 or this is equal to 0. But you see here, because of this function, exponential function e, which is 1 1, this will be equal to 0 only if p is equal to 0. But we have said that lambda is strictly greater than 0. Therefore, this p, it cannot be equal to 0. Okay, and hence from this equation we conclude that this quantity is not 0 and therefore this c2 is equal to 0. Okay, so once we take c2 equal to 0, what is the value of c1? c1 is minus of c2, therefore c1 is also equal to 0, and therefore again in this equation c1 is 0, c2 is 0, so y of x is equal to 0, and therefore again the condition star is not satisfied. Okay, because y of x is equal to 0. This implies c2 is equal to 0 and then c1 is equal to 0, and hence we get y of x equal to 0. Again it is identically equal to 0, therefore it will not satisfy the condition star, meaning this condition. Okay, and therefore then we go for the next case. Let lambda be equal, strictly less than 0. Say let lambda is equal to minus p square. If we put this lambda equal to minus p square here, what we will get is m is equal to plus or minus p into I, and under that condition we say that y of x is of the form c1 cos of px plus c2 sin of px. Okay, and from the initial conditions y of 0 equal to 0 means what? Here 0, this will go, p cos of 0 is 1, so it is c1. It gives us that c1 is equal to 0. Okay, and y at pi will be equal to, c1 is equal to 0, so this term will go and only this one will remain, and c2 into sine of p pi, c2 sine of p pi is equal to 0. Okay, so this tells us that c2 into sine p pi is equal to 0. So if c2 is equal to 0, then again this will come out to be what? Y of x identically equal to 0. Okay, and that will be the trivial solution, and again it will not satisfy the condition star. Okay, but if this c2 is not equal to 0, and so under the condition that c2 equal to 0 we will get the trivial solution. So for to get the non-trivial solution, what we will have to do is we will have to take this c2 not equal to 0. So if this c2 is not equal to 0, then for this product to be equal to 0, this should be equal to 0, and that is p into pi should be some integral multiple of pi, where that n belongs to integers. Okay, So this will give us that p is equal to n, and therefore lambda is equal to minus n square, because it was minus p square. Okay, and therefore the solution y of x is equal to c2 into sine of p means what? P is nx. So this will be the solution y of x. Okay, and now we will have to determine this constant c2. Okay, we have already checked that this y of x, it is satisfying these conditions of the problem, but it has to satisfy this this condition as well. Okay, and therefore this we will use this condition to find out what is the value of this c2. So that will be using isoperimetric condition, that is called as isoperimetric condition. Therefore again and again I was saying it is a isoperimetric condition. Okay, so this condition, it is called as a isoperimetric condition. Integral from 0 to pi y square, what is y? Y is given by this, so that will be equal to c2 square sine square nx dx to be equal to 1. So this is equal to 1. Integral from 0 to pi, this will be 1 minus cos of 2nx by 2 dx equal to 1. This 2 we can keep it out, so this will be pi minus 0 after integrating, and this will be sine of 0, so that will be, the second term will be equal to 0. Okay, this is equal to 1. So we will get c2 square is equal to 2 by pi, c2 is equal to plus or minus root of 2 pi, and therefore y of x is equal to plus or minus root of 2 pi sine of nx. And now if we want to find the extremum value, then it will be vy of x equal to integral from 0 to pi y dash square dx, and this will be integral from 0 to pi, the derivative of this, it will be plus or minus root of 2 pi sine of nx, derivative of this dx. So this will be equal to the square of this derivative. Okay, so it will be equal to 2 by pi into yes, this integral, sorry, not n, so this will be 2 by pi into integral from 0 to pi 1 plus cos of 2nx by 2 x. Oh yes, I think I have done the error here. While differentiating this, it will be sin nx n into cos nx, and then it should be n square into cos square nx. Okay, so that n square term will be there and it will come out n square. So this will be n square and then this term will be, second term will be equal to 0. Yes, so we get the value as n square. So the minimum value here is equal to 1. What is the minimum value that n square can take? It will be equal to 1. You may be wondering why it is not equal to 0. Okay, because you see here, when we had taken this, p of pi is equal to n into pi. Okay, so we got p to be equal to n, and we had taken, if that n is equal to 0, then it was not the solution. Okay, because for this we had taken the case 3 wherein lambda is strictly less than 0. Okay, so here this n, it cannot take value equal to 0, because if it takes value 0, then lambda will be equal to 0. Okay, so in fact here this should be difference n. This equation, it is true for n belonging to integers, but in our problem, for the case that we have considered, it will be this difference, that 0. Okay, so lambda is any other value, so p is not 0 but any other n. Okay, and for we have got that vy of x, on this y of x, the value of vy of x is n square, and the minimum value will be equal to 1.